All right, now we're gonna go to dispatching with Tawana, Randall, and my brother Myron, Piggie. Tawana and Myron, come to the stage. Where y'all at? Yeah. It's a whole lot of money. Hey.
I can't really do this word because it's cheap.
Good. All right. See, this is my job is easy because this is all hustle fam, so I'm comfortable. All right, so we're gonna talk about dispatching, something like that. How many any dispatchers in the building? You got some dispatchers, all right. How many want to get into dispatching and want to become dispatchers in the building? All right, dope, so y'all are in the right place. All right, so first let's kind of get things started. We'll kind of talk about, how you guys got to get into the business individually. Tawana, we'll start with you, Gold Star, kind of give us a little brief overview of who you are, how you got into dispatching.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tawana with Gold Star Logistics Group. I got started in the industry kind of backwards. Purchased some trucks with a partner because someone told us if we purchased trucks, they were going to tell us how to get all these contracts and all that stuff. And long story short, failed miserably in the trucking industry the first time around. So the second time around, I wanted to come in from the ground up. So I started with dispatching, and for some reason, I was like a box truck magnet. So within about 6 months, I was dispatching for about 20 box trucks. And from there, it just grew and grew and grew.
It just grew and spiraled. Myron, talk about your entrance into the industry, how you kind of got started.
All right, so I'm Myron Piggie with Innovative Logistics Group. I got off into trucking because of my partner, Adam, right? I've been knowing Adam for about 14 years, and we used to work together. And the dude used to take like vacations and go drive trucks and stuff like that. And I used to talk about him all the time. And so a couple years ago, I actually was in logistics at my job, but wasn't thinking about me being in logistics. I just was like, I'm the operations manager at this place. That's what I do. But I was setting up deals with, Southeastern Freight Lines and FedEx Freight and people like that, as a negotiator, right, for a shipper. So long story short, I quit my job, went into business with Adam, and we have a consulting firm. So it only makes sense, if your consulting clients, they got trucks, they need loads. We provide solutions. So we started a dispatching company.
Gotcha, I love that. All right, so let's kind of get started from the ground level, and then we'll work our way up a little more sophisticated. So a lot of times people confuse freight brokers and dispatchers. Often, right? Has anybody ever made that? Y'all confused about that? Y'all not confused? All right, well, for the people who are confused, what is the difference between a freight broker, because we had the brokers up here, and a dispatcher, and operationally wise?
So us as dispatchers, our clients are the carriers. So carriers are our clients. We work with carriers. Brokers work with shippers. They also work with carriers, but brokers can go through dispatchers to get build their carrier relationships. But dispatchers only focus on the carrier. They're our clients, they're our responsibility. They're the ones that we're seeking to get the best rates and negotiating the best rates and things like that. But brokers are gonna deal with more so shippers.
Got you. Now, you said when you got started, somehow you got thrown into the box truck lane. Can you explain how that happened?
Well, so we had a box truck, so I had to learn how to dispatch my own box truck. And then from there, the driver would say, oh, this person is dispatching me, and it, just word of mouth. That's been like my biggest asset, as well as far as my dispatch company growing. The drivers telling another driver telling another driver, and from there.
Got you. We talked about niches earlier, right? The riches are in the niches. Myron, talk about your experience in getting started and kind of growing your dispatch service.
So when we first started, our first truck that we brought on was a non-CDL hot shot, right? And it's crazy because from there, You know, we looked up in about 3 or 4 months, and we had like 45 trucks we were dispatching for. Out of the 45 trucks, we may have had maybe 3 or 4 semi-trucks. We had all hot shots and box trucks. You know, we started off, so first of all, we started off charging 5%.
Okay.
When we first started, right? And that was a flat fee for everybody. So, you know, we don't mind a challenge, man. You know, we work with people that need the help, right? Hot shots, box trucks, they're the people that need the help. Semi trucks ain't really, you know, you find some people that's looking for dispatchers, but there's so much freight out there for them. They really don't need one if they know what they know what they're really doing, you know. Right. So we start off with hot shots, man. Hot shots was the thing, and now from there, now we're dispatching. We have over like 77 active trucks right now that we're dispatching for. Okay,
so as you pointed out, both of you guys are in very difficult niches to actually find loads for, right? Because like you said, the 40s, 53s, vans, reefers, there's all kinds of freight. But you were doing hot shots, you're doing box trucks. So what did you guys have to do differently to find customers for your carriers?
Relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships. People go crazy when DAT low board goes down. Like, you know, I see everybody posting low boards down. Did anybody find any lows? Like, you have to build your relationships. You have to talk to these brokers. Every time you receive a rate con, that's a relationship. So every single morning when you get up, you should be emailing every single one of those brokers, letting them know what your truck list is. I got this truck here, I got this truck here, and so on and so forth. If you're dependent solely on DAT to move your loads, you're gonna be out of luck like 4 or 5 times a month.
You're struggling.
They go down often. So you have to build your relationships. You can't just depend on the load board. Because at the end of the day, a carrier can look at a load board. So you have to get out there and do something different. Build your relationships and talk to people, network with people. You know, brokers are our biggest source of our, you know, where our loads come from as far as offside of the load board.
Absolutely. Myron, you talked about starting with one hot shot, right? And then before you knew it, you looked up, you were dispatching about 45, right? All hot shots?
No.
Okay, so this was mixed. So with that one hot shot, Tawana just talked about building relationships. How did you build the relationship for that one hot shot truck? Obviously, you don't have a lot of capacity at this time, right? You can't really offer much to a customer in terms of capacity. So how did you get loads for that one hot shot? And then talk about how you kind of grew from there.
So, you know, finding loads for hot shots and box trucks aren't totally different, right? You gotta learn how to play the partial game, right? You gotta be able to put those puzzle pieces together. And, you know, me and Adam, we're some smart guys, man. You know, you got yourself on the back. Look, and it's like anything. If you really want it, you're gonna go get it, right? You just can't let nothing stop you. It's all about mindset. People talked about mindset earlier. It's the same thing. You know, people do what they want to do. If they really want something, they're gonna go after it. So, you know, we started putting those partials together. We had our guy take pictures of his loads, and we used to post them on Facebook. So that's how we mainly grew our business at first, through Facebook. Right? Me and Adam used to comment and creep all the time, and people's comments, hey, innovative, you dispatch, hit us up. We up till 2 or 3 in the morning, we get answering messages. On the weekends, right? No days off. Like, we talk about growing a business. It's real trendy for people to have a business, but you're talking about growing it, you talk about the grind, right? And I can talk about it, right? But everybody's understanding or explanation of grind is different. Right? We used to be in the office at 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 5 days a week. And on the weekends, we still was grinding. Right? And you got to be obsessed with being successful. Right? So that's how we grew it. We always knew we were going to be successful. So we kept a positive mindset. And, you know, for that one truck, went to 5, went to 10. People was hitting us up. We showing them the pictures. And we was educating folks at the same time. Right, because most of these folks are new getting off into the industry. So if you educate them and you treat them well, they're gonna go tell other people about you. You know, we was posting reviews, and at the same time, we was also building relationships with factoring companies and insurance companies. Right, we had our dispatchers cold calling every day, right, from a certain time period. We left no stone unturned, man. We just went after it.
Do you remember your first customer, Tawana, and how you found them and what that feeling was like when you booked that first load? Can you take us back there?
My first customer, it was again the box truck. It was difficult because he was difficult, and it was more so difficult because he didn't know what he was doing. So as dispatchers, we have to step outside of just being a dispatcher and become a carrier consultant. Because 9 times out of 10, that person that you're dispatcher for has zero idea what he's doing. He just knows that he has some PPP money to buy a truck. That's it. And from there, he's no clue. And so he came to me, and I had all this paperwork, and I was like, where's your insurance? And he's like, yeah, I got it. And I was like, you need $1 million. No, I don't need that. FMCSA said I only needed $750,000. That's what, the requirements for FMCSA, but most brokers are going to require $1 million. So he didn't have that. And, his paperwork was not together. Everything was like screwed up. And then he just jumped in and says, yeah, my homeboy said I can get $4 a mile. Dude, no, you're in a half a truck. It's not happening.
I can't stand
we had to talk a little bit and, bring his standards down a little bit. And, once we got through that, then the process was a little bit easier.
Got you. Myron, you talked a little bit earlier about, you said you had the dispatchers, cold calling, and so forth and so on. When you started the business, did you hire dispatchers off the bat, or did you grow into multiple dispatchers? Talk about scaling a dispatch business.
So we did hire some dispatchers off the back. And I'm gonna tell you, we made mistakes starting off, right? Because the problem is, the first dispatcher we had, she was a bartender. Right, and so she came in, and from day one she was killing it.
Okay.
So that messed up our expectations, right? Oh, my homeboy, he's smart. He can do this. Oh yeah, you good at insurance. You can do this too. You good at sales. And they was terrible, right? So we went through that a lot, but. Man, it was tough. That's one thing I tell folks. You want to get off into dispatching, you gotta be mentally strong, man. I can't say that enough. You have to be mentally prepared for this game. There's gonna be days you're gonna want to grab that cell phone and throw it across the room and slam that laptop top down and cuss everybody out and everything. But you gotta get back up and come back another day, man. And that's what we did, man. We always knew we were gonna be fine. Just, somebody said something the other day, like having a business is a contact sport, right? You gotta take them bumps and bruises. You gotta embrace the process, and fall in love with it. And if you stick with it, man, you'll be just fine.
No doubt. What are some of the skills that you look for in hiring a dispatcher, or in a person who wants to become a dispatcher? What are some of those skills that they must have in order to embark in this industry?
So now that we know better, we hire experienced dispatchers, but we put out ads for folks that want to dispatch box trucks. Because in my mind, mentally, if you're willing to come in and dispatch box trucks and be okay with that, you'll be able to do anything else, right? So that's the first thing I look for. And we changed our process, right? So now we got a 3-step process on the interview. We do a screening first to make sure you even know anything about trucking, right? Then secondly, I'll jump on the Zoom with you and we'll just have a conversation. Because I look for great people that can dispatch well, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we do it for, the people. I need to make sure you're gonna treat my people right, and after that, the last part of the interview, we jump on the Zoom, we jump on the load board. Because you can't just tell me you can dispatch. And I'll be like, okay, cool, we did that before, right? Short story real quick, right? I'm gonna tell you how when the light bulb went off. Had a lady, great resume, dispatching for 6 years and all this other stuff, man. And she gets on there and she books her first load. She sends me and Adam a text message with a picture of carrier agreement, carrier packet. And she said, "What's this?" We was like, "What? Hold, wait a minute. Like, something's missing. Something's wrong." I called her, I'm like, "Yo, I thought you've been doing this for a while." yeah, but it's kind of been a minute. You know, I did it for my brother, and this, I was like, oh, no. No, you gotta get on the load board and talk me through your process, right? What are you thinking when you booking this load? What are you looking for? Because it can't just be the highest dollar amount, right? It gotta make sense. You know, we focus on profitability. That's one of the things that keeps us apart from all the other dispatch companies. Everybody else is trying to make money, right? We're trying to make you money and make sure you stay in business. So we focus on, you know, we go through the break-even analysis worksheet with our clients, right? So they can understand the business. You have to educate these folks. Like Tawana said, you become a consultant at this point, kind of like a barber, right? Everybody go in there and talk to the barber about everything. These drivers they call, and you know, they'll tell you their whole life story, you know, but that's part of the job, right? It's part of the whole situation, man. So I put them through the ringer, you know. We call 5 brokers, and I need to see what your negotiating skills is like, you know. And if you okay, you know, if I feel like we can work with you a little bit or whatever, then that's cool. But if I gotta say anything to you about how to book that load or whatever, it's a fail.
Got you. Do you think that people who are aspiring dispatchers want to open their own dispatch company? Do you think it's a good path for them to work for somebody first, a dispatch company first? And are those kind of companies available in abundance to be able to get that kind of training and education from? What y'all laughing at?
I'll let you talk about
Is there an inside joke?
Yeah, this is the expert, right?
Go ahead, Tawana.
So that's how I started.
Okay.
I grew my dispatch service up to about 21 dispatchers. Just basically because I just wanted to give people opportunity. It's hard to get out there and not have the experience and not have the understanding and then go to somebody and say, hey, will you hire me as a dispatcher? So me, you know, I wanted to be that one. I wanted to try to help everyone. Like, okay, you can come work for me. Yeah, you can come work for me. Yeah, you too. You can come work for me too. And it sounds good. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. So as you know, they said earlier about getting coached, I did. I had to get my coaching and my mentoring, and they put my dispatchers through a ringer and cut them in half. And you know, the ones I have now that still standing are in beast mode. In beast mode. So there are opportunities out there. The main thing I would say with that is it's hard. It's also expensive to run a dispatch service. People think, oh, you know, it's low expenses. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. But you know, we're getting these low awards, and we have all these other expenses that's going on as well. And we pour all this stuff into you and giving you all these tools, and then every 5 minutes you calling me like, you know, you're an independent dispatcher for a reason. So if you're calling me every 5 minutes, you're no longer independent. It's almost like you're my employee. You know, so you have to be independent. You have to be able to research on your own and go out there and find the information versus just saying, oh, I know I have somebody else I can call for the information. So whether it's your own business or whether you're dispatching for someone else, dispatching is one of those things where you grind mode. If you're getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning talking about you about to look on the load board and dispatching, you just might as well roll over and go back to sleep because your day's done.
Or got a full-time job.
Yeah, if you have a full-time job, this not for you. You know, if you're trying to check in at Walmart with people and do dispatching on your break, you know, I have people all the time, can I do it like part-time evenings and weekends? Like, this ain't Chick-fil-A. Like, it don't work like that. Like, your drivers are they're your clients. They're, you know, you building a relationship with these clients. So it's not just, you know, I'm trying to make my driver money or you're trying to make yourself money, but if you don't know these guys, if you don't know their pattern, if you're not talking to them, then they're gonna go to someone else. You know, then your driver retention is worse than, you know, people who need drivers for truck driving.
Yeah. So
you gotta be able to build these relationships. You gotta be we up 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes some of them are up earlier than that. Looking on the load boards, contacting your driver, where are you? What are you doing? Are you up? Are you ready? You know, that way when I'm up looking on the load board and I find you a load and I call you and you don't answer, or I'm moving on to my next truck. You just missed that opportunity. So it's not easy, but you know, you have to be on grind mode doing this, just like anything else in transportation. But if you're not gonna make the sacrifices to do it, then it's not for you. You have to have that same energy when you make $300 a week. The same energy you have making that little bit of money, the same energy you have when you made that $3,000 a week. You know, I had those. When I left Emory, I was at Emory University for 12 years, and I quit like cold turkey. Just walked in, turned in my resume, and was like, I'm finna do this full time. And my mama thought I had lost all the mind I had, left my benefits. But I knew once I left that it was go time. That's all I had. So I was up, I did this all day, every day, until I learned everything I needed to know. And I still don't know everything I need to know, because I still do coaching and mentoring and things like that. But it was a process, you know, learning it, eat, sleep, breathe, computer everywhere. We couldn't even go to dinner without me bringing a computer. You know, everywhere I went, I was in this, you know, so it's a process. So whether you're working for someone else or whether you're gonna do your own independent service, you gotta grind. You gotta grind. If you're not gonna grind, you just don't do it. Don't waste your money.
It's tough though too, especially when you have an established dispatch company, right? Like for me to bring on a brand new dispatcher, I don't think about the resources it cost me to hire them. I think about the business I'm gonna lose, right? And we lost a lot of business bringing on new dispatchers. So what we would do is, you would give them 3 or 4 or 5 carriers, right? And they get on there, and that first day, they have a bad day. Next thing you know, they ghost you, right? They disappear. Now, you know, while you running the business, now all of a sudden, you like, man, anybody heard from such and such? No, man, well, who's taking care of their carriers? Carriers been sitting all day, waiting on loads, and you know that can't happen, right? The first time you had them sitting all day, they on the phone calling Tawana, right? Hey, my dispatch company ain't taking care of me. You give me a load today? I've been sitting all day, I ain't heard from nobody, you know? And so it's tough, man. It's tough to do that, and I just won't, you know, honestly. I wouldn't at this point, man. We tried it, it didn't work. You know, that whole situation failed. So I only hire experienced dispatchers that actually showed me and proved to me that they can dispatch.
Got you. What are some of the hot equipment types right now? You guys are kind of spread, you know, around now, not just doing one single niche. What are some of the hot equipment types, and people who are looking into it, if you want to, like a profitable niche where you could find, you know, good opportunity, what would you guys suggest?
Box trucks.
Okay.
It's funny because, you know, I'm in, you know, a few dispatching groups, and, you know, I network with people, and if not every day, at least every other day, another dispatcher is emailing me about, oh, this box truck guy hit me up. I only deal with dry vans, but you got 2 dry vans.
Right.
You got 2 dry vans, you only deal with dry vans.
Right.
You know, but bring them on, we'll take them. Right. You know, you have to be able to take what's out there. Like he said, dry vans don't need y'all. A driver can get out there and find his own load. They can build relationships with shippers and move their own trucks. The drive-ins that we do have are those ones that, you know, are doing it maybe as a passive income, or, you know, they just don't have time. They just want to drive their truck. But most of the time, it's going to be those hot shots. It's going to be those box trucks. You know, for us, it's only a 26-foot box truck. We do not take the 10-foot, the 16-foot. That's like a Sprinter van. It's shaped like a box. But you have to be able to take what's there. So if you shy away from the box trucks, what makes you think you can dispatch a dry van?
Absolutely.
What makes you an expert at dispatching a dry van? Or how you going to dispatch a flat shot? You know, most people come in and they don't even know the difference between a hot shot and a flatbed. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I found this load, it's 50,000 pounds and put on a hot shot.
Right.
Right, yeah, you know, so you got to start with what's out there. You got to start from the ground up. You know, everybody always hears me say, if you can dispatch for a box truck, you can dispatch for anything. You know, but you have to be able to take it, but if not, keep sending my way, we good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, Myron.
So like you said, the riches are in the niches, right? Like I said, we focus on providing solutions. Box trucks need the most help right now, you know? And those are to me, the main trucks that you can start off charging them 10%, right? Y'all out there charging dry vans 10% or whatever, y'all wrong. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now, because y'all not adding enough value to charge somebody 10% on the dry van, right? But the box trucks, you can out the gate, you can charge them 10%, but you gotta give them results though, right? Don't just come out of a class and want to charge somebody 10%. You don't even know what you're doing, right? What job you go on when you get the top pay right out the gate? That kills me, man. And the problem is these courses, right? Telling everybody, they're not teaching people how to dispatch box trucks first off, right? They only teaching people how to dispatch dry vans and reefers. And they don't even tell them how hard it's gonna be to get these carriers, right? They make it seem so easy. Take this course, get you a laptop, get you a cell phone, get you a load board, go make 6 figures. It don't work that way. It don't work that way at all. But the riches are in the niches, man. You gotta deal with the equipment that everybody else don't want to deal with. That's when you're gonna make your money at. And we tell folks that all the time, man. All the time.
You have to think about it. We charge 10% for box trucks, okay? The goal with a box truck, especially if they're over 90 days, is what, 4,000 to 4,000 and up. Okay, so if you got a box truck and he made $5,000 that week. On that one box truck, you just made $500. You know what I'm saying? So then you have another box truck, you hit that goal with him. That's $1,000 that you just made on that one box, on 2 box trucks. Okay? So you are here and you have your full-fledged dispatch company and you're saying you only dispatch for dry vans and you got 2 dry vans. You know, I can make the money, you know, when I first started with those 12 trucks, I was making $3 to $4 grand a week on all box trucks. I didn't need a dry van. You know, so when a dry van finally came to me, it was different for me because I was so used to dealing with a half a dry van. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get out there and take what's available. You can't, if you're afraid of a box truck, then this business is not for you.
Nah, you need to do something.
It's definitely not for you because you're looking for the dry vans and you think, we're following Instagram and all these people on Instagram that just tell you, oh, it's just easy. You know, I got 7 dry vans. They just came to me overnight. That ain't true. It's not true. I promise you it's not true. So, just take what's out there. You have to take the challenge. Dispatching is all about challenge. And box truck is gonna be a challenge. But every load that you book is not gonna be, okay, I booked a load, 30 minutes later, I'm good, I'm finna go get my nails done. Every load is not gonna be like that. All box trucks are not always gonna be difficult. But if you train your client, it becomes a whole different ballgame. You don't you don't work for that carrier. So you don't let that carrier dictate to you what he wants. You're not gonna come to us and tell us, I just wanna go from my mailbox to my driveway, I wanna be home every night, I need to make $7,000 a week, and I don't work on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Onboard and call done. We won't even take you in as a client. Okay, so you dictate what you want from every carrier that you bring in. You're telling them what your standards are. Okay, and once you tell them what your standards are, it makes your life more easier. So it makes that box truck a little bit more easy because you've dictated to them what it is that you're gonna deal with. You're not gonna deal with not communicating, you're not gonna deal with, them not answering the phone or them being late to your brokers that you built this relationship with. So if you dictate that to those carriers, these box trucks won't be as hard as you think they are.
And then on top of that, right, I'm awesome at building relationships, right? You gotta think big picture. Right, so you get this guy that starts off in the box truck, so you feel like this is the easy way to do this, right? So he starts off in his box truck. He starts making a little money with the box truck, but he realizes as he gets like 6 months or a year in the game, I can make more money if I got a semi truck, right? So now when he upgrades to the semi truck, who's he gonna go to for dispatch? Right, it's relationships. The person that was there with me when I was down, now that I came up, I'm gonna stick with the same folks. Right? People don't think like that. People so small-minded, they're thinking about right now. But if you're gonna get in this business, man, it can't be about the money. Right? The money can't be the goal. It gotta be bigger than yourself. Right? You gotta have a purpose. My purpose is helping people. So I don't mind grabbing a box truck or nothing like that because these people need help. Right? That's why the failure rate is so high. People don't understand. People talk about dispatching, and I think dispatchers don't get the respect that they deserve. Right? Because you talk about, I want to start off at the bottom level. You talk about dispatchers. Dispatchers are so important, but they don't realize how much of an impact you can make on somebody's business. Right? Dispatchers are very important. So you gotta make sure that y'all become students of the game and learn everything you can about the industry so you can better serve your clients, right? Because the more you educate them, the more you got a chance of retaining them, right? They're gonna stick with you, and as they grow, y'all gonna grow together.
No, that's right, that's great. And I'd like to just bring home that point and just say that you will get compensated in proportion to the size of the problem that you solve, right? So y'all remember that there's a reason why brain surgeons make more than regular doctors, because they're solving a bigger problem. So the bigger the problem, the more the pay, right? The more the payoff in the end. I want to open up the floor to any questions for Tawana and Myron about dispatching. We want to make sure that we get these questions. We got a few people coming to the stage. All right, cool, no problem.
Hey, real quick, what is the best, because I do want to move into hiring dispatchers for my carrier side, what is the best software to onboard, or like which do you use?
Software to onboard a dispatcher, a carrier.
Like a TMS system?
Yeah, so, okay, so when I fill out a carrier packet, some of their packets I literally have to print out or go onto like one of the service DocuSign or something like that I have. And then I can just fill it out, you know, like that on my phone or something. But some people, I literally have to download the paperwork, sign it, upload the paperwork, and then there's some companies that when they send their packet, it's all automated. I can like just type in the company name, type in, you know, the MC and things like that, and then upload my files and hit send, and I'm done. Like, it's literally like 2 seconds. So is there, I don't know the software that they're using, so.
Let me see if I can kind of understand your question. Are you a dispatcher?
No, I own a brokering company and a carrier company. 2 separate companies, 2 separate MCs and authorities.
So are you talking about the broker packages that come from a broker?
Yes, no. Any onboarding, so I'm asking about, I want to add dispatching, okay, to my little business. So, I'm saying I've seen packets where it's come and I can just do them like this, and I don't know, it's a software.
There's different things you can use. You can use like Sign Now, Adobe, you know.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. I know what you're saying. I've used those where you can use DocuSign and stuff like that.
Right.
Not those systems. It's like their onboarding packet is fully automated.
Are you talking about like RMIS?
Yes.
So you want to use that, you as a broker want to use that?
No,
As a carrier?
Yeah, on the carrier side as a dispatcher.
So I think you're getting it confused, right? Because as a dispatcher, you have your own carrier agreement that you send the carriers, right? So that's what's important. So we use Sign Now for the agreement. I'll send you a link. It'll take you to my agreement. You fill out my agreement, and when you get done, it'll come back to me.
Right.
So that's what we use. That's what we use.
So what's the name of it that you?
Sign Now is what we use. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, my name is India of Limitless Logistics, as you see. You mentioned offering value to your carriers, which is always my primary focus. Like my work background in the last 10 years has always been administrative customer service focused. So how can I better, like when you talk about percentages, not knowing a lot, how can you better like not overextend yourself, offering those additional services to your carrier, like administrative support? You mentioned they may not know a lot. They're driving, they don't have time to research a lot of stuff, but I know I can. And when we have those check-in calls, I know they have a few minutes loading or unloading, that's when I'll take advantage of, hey, did you know this? Let me help you understand this better. But like there's a thin line between helping because you always want to serve them best, but I'm not gonna say you're not paying me for it, but I don't want to overextend myself, where it's like you're getting these hours I spend researching and learning, but you may not kind of have that return, or if the carrier leaves, you've helped them with so much at the business side that how do you keep yourself from feeling like cheated or not giving too much?
You can't. Really you can't, but you can't think about that either. Because the way you're saying right now, your mindset is on the money.
Right.
Okay, because if that carrier turns around and buys 3 more trucks tomorrow, you're going to be dispatching for that. So now he's adding more value to you. Okay, so when dispatchers first start, they say, oh, I'm charging 10%. Well, what do you offer for that 10%? Oh, I negotiate the best rate. Okay, that's your job.
Right.
You know, what else? What else do you do as a dispatcher?
Right.
So, you know, there are other things. Case in point, I had a dispatcher that I mentor. She was like, her driver called her in the middle of a load and said his truck broke down. I said, okay, what did you say? Well, I told him to call me back when he get it up. Like, what? Like, were you able to help him find, you know, a towing service, a roadside assistance? Did you call the receiver and let the receiver know that the load was going to be late? Did you contact the broker and let the broker know where his load was? You know, instead of sitting over there not answering anybody's phone call because you don't know what to say. You know, are you letting this driver know, hey, you stopping for the night, you need me to find you a hotel, do you need me to find you truck parking, truck wash? You know, it sounds like a lot, but at the end of the day, when he's ready to add new services or add new trucks, he's coming to you. He's not gonna go to someone else. So he understands that she's providing this for me and she's doing this for me.
Right.
You know, for us, we're looking at him as a dispatch client, he's a compliance client, you know, UCRs are coming up,
Right.
you know? So hey, I'm not gonna send him somewhere else for that. We offer compliance. So whatever the services are, you can't think of it as, I'm doing all this and he not paying me for it. You have to think of it as, if I'm adding this value to him, he gonna tell him, he gonna tell him, he gonna tell her, he gonna tell all these people to come to you. That's the value that he's adding to you, and that's where you're getting your benefits from.
Yeah, and you gotta understand too, so it's the difference between you doing like stuff like compliance for him and you filling out carrier agreements, carrier packets, right? Because some people think that doing carrier packets and stuff like that is like extra. That comes with the territory, that's dispatching, right? Sending in invoices and things like that for factoring. That's part of dispatching. Now, if you're doing compliance for them, then learn compliance. That way you can charge for that. Like I tell people all the time, don't kill them on the dispatch fees, right? Offer them factoring, right? Partner with a factoring company. Offer them fuel cards, right? Stuff like that. That's where you can add on and make more money, but at least you still adding more value, right? So it's the difference. It just depends on what you're offering.
Factory was an OTR and Marquee right over here. So prime example, there you go.
Well, we use RTS, so Shelby Hatcher, shout out to Shelby back there with RTS.
Let me tell you real quick before she says her question. If y'all are dispatchers and y'all not connected to a factoring company or building your relationship with insurance companies, y'all are doing yourself a disservice. I'm sorry, I use both OTR and RTS. I love them both. Renato back there, he sends me clients all the time. I send him clients, he sends me clients. You gotta get out here and talk to people and network people. If you are here and you haven't talked to people and gave them your card and let them know what services you provide, you know, all the time your services or your business is not gonna come from that IG post that you post. You gotta talk to people. You know, we don't really have to go after a client all so much because RTS is emailing me clients. OTR is emailing me clients because that's a relationship that I
Build
build.
relationships, man.
Build good relationships.
That's right. Go right ahead.
My name is Tish with Loyalty Courier Services. My question is, as a dispatcher, do you guys like have a shut-off time? So I'm in the process of still building a relationship. So I'll get up 6:30 and find myself still looking for loads by like 1 or 2. Is it like a shut-off time that I should shut it off if I don't find something by that day to start preparing for the next day?
When you get the job done, that's when you shut it off, right? If you was out there in the road driving the truck, when would you want somebody to quit on you, stop on you?
So that's the thing. I've been active 1 year authority. I started driving the box truck. My husband, he would be in the passenger seat working, and I would be driving. I walked away from the medical field 17 years as a nurse, and I just cold turkey left. So now that I have a driver in the truck, I struggle with okay, here it is 2:30, but he may be tired. I don't know if he's tired, but then it's 3 o'clock and I'm like, okay, you ready? And it's like, he'd have been up all day waiting on me. So that's when I kind of get a little compassion. I'm like, okay, well, we'll just wait till tomorrow and then I'll still pay you for it. Like, I don't know.
What about his hours of service? What about his hours of service?
And that's another thing. So that's why I say, is it a shut-off time? Because if he's not
If he got 11 fresh hours?
if he's not a CDL holder, then yeah. So 11 fresh hours, meaning he can drive, yes. But what if he's been up waiting on me since like 8 o'clock and I don't find a load for him? So
His truck wasn't moving. His truck wasn't moving. I mean, yeah, you want to have an understanding of your driver's abilities and, you know, can you drive or can't, you know, but, you know, you have to plan it as well, okay? So you have to get into the habit of like, kind of like planning your day. If he dropped that load at 8 o'clock, if you know you booked a load on Thursday, he's dropping that load 8 o'clock on Friday, you're not gonna start looking for a load at 8 o'clock on Friday. You start looking for a load when he's loaded on Thursday. So you have to start planning it a little bit better. You start planning it a little bit better. When you get to a certain point, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the day, then that's when I start adding, you know, both days to, you know, today and tomorrow. You know, so if I can't get him moving today, I can get him moving tomorrow. Okay, so if you plan it a little better, it'll work out a little better for you. That way he's had his rest, he's had his time to chill out and do what he needs to do, and then, you know, you've had your time to do what you need to do as well. So it really isn't a cutoff, because at the end of the day, especially if it's your truck, you want your truck to move. Right. So my cutoff is when my truck is moving. So we keep going. Sometimes my dispatch is up 6, 7 o'clock, still looking for loads. My thing is, if you on that load board and they posted it, somebody posted it. So call it. It could be not, your kids book load 9, 10, 12 o'clock at night. Because they posted it, that mean they up. Hey.
And book a load from a load, man. Book a load from a load, right? You book that one load, like she said, if you know he's gonna be there Friday at 8 o'clock, go ahead and book that next one, right? Don't wait. If your driver gets somewhere, gets empty, and he's sitting, don't know where he's going, you failed.
No doubt.
Hello, my name is Whitney. I have 2 questions. The first one is, we both mentioned that dispatching for a box truck is very hard. Where is it at? What's the most important thing to know about dispatching a box truck? And then the other question is, what are some resources to gain more knowledge about dispatching box trucks?
You said, what's the most important thing to know about the box truck?
About dispatching the box truck.
The dimensions. Everybody seems to think that, even the carriers, you'd be surprised how many carriers don't know the size of their box truck. Okay, they'll call me, I got a 26-foot truck. Okay, the inside, you know, how high is it, how wide is it? Well, it's 26 feet. They're all the same. They are not all the same.
No.
Not all box trucks are created equal. Like, you have to know that, if you don't know the dimensions of your own, I'm not there. You know, so I don't know the size of your truck. So you have to know the dimensions of this unit. Get an empty weight ticket is the second thing. Once you get that empty weight ticket, you understand how much actually commodity you can actually put on the truck. They seem to think, oh, it's a box truck, it's 26,000 GPW, I can carry 10,000 pounds. Not always true. Not all box trucks are created equal, so you have to have if your carrier doesn't know the dimensions, you don't work with him until he does. So once he understands the size of his own equipment, then that'll help you better. So that way when you're looking at the load board, you're not just looking at those SB loads. You see those V loads for van, and I'm calling trying to convince that broker, oh yeah, my driver can move this load. You know, because you can go into them and you can call them, even though it's not it doesn't say he's requiring a box truck load. You go in and you call him and he's like, okay, it's under 8,000 pounds. Okay, it's 6 feet. I'm calling him, letting him know the dimensions of my guy's truck. What's the dimensions of the largest pallet that you're gonna put on this truck? Or how many pallets are you putting on this truck? And by the end of that conversation, you've convinced him he don't need a dry van.
And we didn't say it was hard to dispatch box trucks, right? That's the perception. So everything's all about perception. How you view what you do is how you do what you do, right? So if you keep telling yourself it's hard, then it's gonna be hard, right? But the process for dispatching a box truck is the same as booking a load for a dry van, right? You're doing the same thing. You get on the load board, you're calling a broker, right? You just got smaller restrictions, right? Ain't nothing different, just the way you look at it, right? So that's not hard.
Great questions, Whitney.
Good afternoon. My name is Shawanda with SS Randall Logistix. I'm a new dispatcher for the trucking industry, but not in the game necessarily. However, we're talking about competitiveness and collaborating. And one of the things that I've noticed, just kind of having an online presence and being groups and everything, is how important it is as dispatchers to network with one another. Because sometimes what we don't notice is we think we're all in this alone and that we can't reach out to other people. So in your experience, how important is it to work with, collaborating with other dispatchers in the industry that may be in different regions? And I mean, everybody brings different things to the table. How did you guys put that in place, and what advice do you give us as dispatchers who may need to reach out to other people?
You definitely can work with other dispatchers. You have to network with other people. My first thing to that was I would say is be careful in these Facebook groups. Not all Facebook groups are created equal. You know, not all Facebook groups are nice, not all Facebook groups give you the proper information. But if you network with the right dispatchers, then you guys can work together to move your loads. Anybody that's in my group on Slack, you know, I come in that group all the time and drop a load. If I can't move it, and I have a broker that I built a relationship with that's giving me a load, if I can't move the load, I need to find somebody else that can move the load. So I'm dropping it in my group to see who can move it, because at the end of the day, that relationship with that broker is way more important than me making 10%. So if she can move the load with one of her good carriers, we good. So you have to build that relationship. So you may call another dispatcher and be like, you got anything? But if you're thinking about the fact that, oh, maybe I have to share my percentage with this dispatcher, or if I don't book the load, I'm not gonna make any money, it's not about you, it's about that truck. So once he's your carrier, once he's your client, it's not about you making the whole percentage. It's about moving the truck. So you move the truck by any means necessary.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. All right, Tawana, Myron, this has been awesome as normal, regular, usual. Give it up for Tawana and Myron, y'all.